Lane from NDOT is here with us, so we're going to let him do his presentation now because he has a new baby and he has to go get his mother-in-law at the airport and we don't want him to get hurt. So, we're going to do a good job, JD. Thank you.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all for allowing me to come here. Quick backstory on me. As she said, we have a new baby. I was supposed to come speak at this, I guess it was 2 meetings ago, with Brad Freeze from our department. And literally the day before that, we had to go to the hospital, and then about 6 days later, I had a son. So this week was actually my first week kind of back in the office full time. So it's been a roller coaster. So thank you, I appreciate that. Just to give you a little story on me, like you said, I'm with NDOT. One of my jobs at NDOT is that I am the executive director of the Metro Beautification and Environment Commission. The Environment Commission has 35 positions in it. For every council district, there's a beautification commissioner. It's assigned by the council member, appointed by the mayor. So each council district should have a beautification commissioner. At this current time, I think I have 4 vacancies throughout the county. This district, District 16, Chris, I can't remember his last name, Saunders. He's the current beautification commissioner. I'm sure all you know him. Just kind of like I said, I'm just giving you more backstory, kind of what I do. I've dealt with Chris some. I recently just took over the commission for about 1.5 years now, so it's still kind of learning as I'm going. I had been involved with the commission probably for 10 plus years before that, before coming over it when it come over to NDOT. Some of the other stuff I do at NDOT is I oversee our litter programs and street sweeping. But I know tonight we're mainly focusing on the beautification project aspect of it. And just to dive right into it, what that consists of is last year, our director, she wanted each district to have funds available to do a beautification project. Something that I don't think has been done in a while. I know back in 2017, I think there was a $1,500 per district amount, but that was the only time I'd heard of it. But our director, she wanted us to take part of our budget and let the commissioners have it to do a beautification project in their district. So last year she gave everybody, or I say she, but our department allocated $3,000 per district to do a beautification project, and it was a pretty success. There were some districts that didn't utilize the funding. Some of those vacant districts, they didn't utilize their funding, but I was able to use it for certain beautification elements that I needed to get pushed through. Like I said, it was $3,000, and I'll just briefly go over. Like I said, this is no formal presentation because I'm not one of my strongholds. In District 35, they if I can get this thing to pull up. This is I'm not sure how many. I know this is on the other side of town from here, but this is in Bellevue, right at the intersection of Newsom Station and McCory Lane. The sign was already there, but the commissioner wanted to do some stuff around it to kind of enhance it a little bit. So that was one thing. We was able to get our contractor to come in there, dig it up a little bit, put some plants and mulch. Whenever we've done these things, I've always wanted it to be something that's easy maintenance and something that's going to not require a lot of attention, because in past experience working with, nothing's wrong with volunteers at all, but sometimes people will peter out. They'll work on something, they'll be all hot and heavy about it for the first 2 months, and then they'll either move off or lose interest or whatever. So I told the commissioner, I said, try to, whenever you want to go and plant stuff in these areas, try to make it something that's going to be low maintenance, cost effective. This was just one example of what they did in District 35. It's a little better view of it. Let's see. This was in District 17. Let's see. It's some other, like just a planting project they did. Putting new mulch down, putting new plants in. Like I said, they had $3,000. So what you're seeing here that's kind of what $3,000 got them. Of course, it was all done by our contractor. Let's see what this is here. This is like the proposal to District 17. Just to kind of give as an example, this is what the proposal looked like. And like I said, I'll be happy to share some of this with y'all via email later. I know it's probably not that easy to see this from here. But I said that's just some of the projects from last year. Again, last year the project was a $3,000 per district budget. One thing, some districts they bought like a couple of districts bought tents so that they could set up at events, at community events, and have set up to where they could set up a little booth and promote cleanup programs and talk about beautification. I had one group and I couldn't find the pictures from it, and they did a pollinator garden kind of adjacent to the road right there. They worked with the Tennessee Environmental Council and they installed a pollinator garden there. And like I said, that was within the $3,000 budget. Moving on to this year, we were able to get it moved up to $5,000 per district, just because we had pretty good participation last year, and the commissioner, or my director, wanted to see more, more beautification efforts throughout the county. So we upped it to $5,000. I have high hopes that we're going to be able to utilize a lot of those funding. If not, I plan on trying to find a way, if possible. One in District 3, they're looking to do, if I can get, they're wanting to do a mural, and the mural will look similar to that, but they're going to do it on an overpass. And as we get into this, you can kind of see where they're wanting to do it. One issue with this and why this is not an easy, we're still in the planning part of this project. The reason being is because this is TDOT property, and we'll get on into the whole TDOT property here in a minute. But because it's on TDOT property, they have an application process you have to go through. It's not easy. As you can see, and I'll pull it back to my folder, this is all the stuff we had to push it through council. Even though council had already approved the funding, we had to show TDOT where we had, how we were allocating the funding through this. I had to provide a maintenance plan. Let me see what this is. This is kind of what the application looks like. Like I said, it's nothing, and I turned this in probably a month ago. I've had a few emails back from TDOT asking questions. They hadn't turned it down yet, but they hadn't told me yes yet, so that we can get the process started. Because murals can get expensive with paying an artist, and they also have to provide some type of their safety plan for when they are installing this. TDOT wants them to show that they're going to have everything's going to be set up from a safety standpoint. They also have to provide a maintenance plan. And I say all that just because I know from what I've said with Sherry, I know y'all are interested in doing some things here on Thompson Lane, like in the medians. And just so you know, Thompson Lane belongs to TDOT. The only part that Metro owns is East Thompson Lane, right there from Thompson Lane on the Murfreesboro. But like this whole stretch through here belongs to TDOT. So I know, and we can just kind of open it up to a discussion or however we need to do it. But I know, Sherry, you mentioned something about pollinator gardens on part of that. And I think with planting stuff like that in TDOT right away, I don't think they're not going to, right word, I don't think it's going to be as tedious of a thing, whereas as opposed to painting a mural. Painting a mural's, it's a big project because then you open yourself up because people are liable to graffiti it, and make a mess of it. I mean, I hate to say it, but there's mean people in this world. Everybody knows it. Everybody watches the news. Prime example, we just installed a bunch of planters down Broadway in Nashville. They're big planters. They got, I can't remember what flowers they planted in them, but that was about 3 weeks ago. Somebody has come through and tore all the plants out of the planters. I don't know how they get the kicks off on that or what they're doing with the plants. I don't know if they thought there was a pot of gold underneath them. I don't know why people do what they do, but it's frustrating from my end too, so please understand that. But like I said, and I know, Sherry, are you talking with Michael McClanahan from TDOT? He's part of the TDOT beautification office, and I know they have the pollinator program, and I told her I'd be happy to, work with Michael and see if we can get something going as far as that goes and use some of that funding to pay for that. Because I think Michael, being as he worked at TDOT, he can kind of work that side of it a little better because he works in that department, hopefully. That's my hope anyways. But and as far as the ones, if we're looking at the medians on East Thompson Lane, of course, that's a little easier because it's in our department, and I can kind of, if we want to do something there, we can work things probably a little quicker there. But that's all I wanted to cover. I'll open it up for discussion. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm probably not going to be the most favored person here tonight, but there's been some discussions in the past about pollinator gardens and different kinds of green plants being planted there. The problem is we have an incredible homeless population that thrive on those corners. And so anybody, they have their little crates they set up. Some of them even have chairs they set in and a wheelchair.
Oh, some of them have a Mustang they pull up and park in the grass.
So the problem is anything that we do that is a live plant is not going to survive. The only thing that survives are the weeds. Then there's the thought that we should maybe do something like hangers or concrete. That wasn't going to work because there's utilities under there that might need to be accessed. That would be a utility question.
I would think with the utilities, there'd probably just be an understanding written up that, if a water line breaks or whatever else and they have to get in there and dig it up, and there's probably something where they're not going to put it back.
No, they're not going to put it back because there were some really nice pavers torn up down at the Circle and the Lumbrian, and they were never put back. It just doesn't happen.
Like the music.
It just never happens. And so then we had at one point, many moons ago, I don't know how many, there was everything got killed, everything got cleaned up, and we put in wood chips. And that seemed to be the best thing. There's going to be weeds grow there. We can't even get the grass cut. So my husband and I have talked about it, and ironically some other people have mentioned the same thing. Take that $5,000 and just keep the grass cut and the trash picked up. We know that's not beautification, but it is in the long run.
You're talking about the medians right here on...
But I was down there the other day picking up illegal signs and walking from one side to the other to pick them all up. And so there are walkways that go in that median. There are little pathways that are pavers, I think they are. Stamp one. And if I'm standing there waiting on that light to change and a pollinator garden is on either side of me, I'm going to be batting something, and it's probably not going to be flies.
And it's also seems that we don't want to attract honeybees, pollinators into traffic and end up
on windshields and grills. Pollinator gardens should be in a serene, remote place that's
Gotcha.
not undisturbed. There wouldn't be a threat to the
I think the more what pollinator gardens I've seen have been like they're not nowhere near an intersection. They're always, I've seen them in the middle of the interstates mainly, where that's been my experience with them. Or like that one that we did, it's off the side of the road where it's not, because I can see what you're saying. If it's right there at the intersection, bees are swarming or whatever is there pollinating or doing what it does, I can see how that would cause an issue. And I'm not, please don't think I'm here to promote pollinator gardens. I know very little about pollinator gardens.
I'm not against them, because I think they have a place. I'm just not sure that is the right place. The amount of traffic that goes through there every day, I don't know.
And I'll say this too. I know the areas you're talking about that don't get mowed. You're talking about mainly through here on Thompson Lane, right here at Murfreesboro Road. And please don't think I'm passing the buck by any means. But with that being TDOT's,
Both of those roads, Knowlesville Road and Thompson Lane are both TDOT.
and we've talked about the hub earlier. If we get a hub request for it, we send it to the state. There have been times where if we get have gotten so many complaints on it that we'll actually send our crews out there, because we can tell TDOT till we're blue in the face too, and they'll say, yeah, we'll get it. And I'm not saying we have a bad relationship with TDOT by no means, but we can't push them as far as we can push our own people. Now, if that was our median and you submitted a complaint that grass was getting too high, we're going to do our best to get it cut as soon as possible. By utilizing the hub, or call me and I'll see what the holdup is, because we don't want not that we're trying to show up TDOT, but we don't want no more complaints than people want to complain. So, which I think.
I didn't say the native pollinators, I said native perennials. Those can be decorative grasses.
But at one time we talked about doing the pollinator. We did talk about, we had a person come talk to us about doing pollinators.
Down there or down by the zoo?
No, down here.
It's all about that. I'm talking about things like the grasses, or you do succulents like cactus,
Well, the problem is, there were at one time monkey grass planted there. It didn't last.
JD, I don't know. I know a little bit I feel like I'm an expert on the corner. I feel like I'm an expert on the corner of Thompson Lane and Knowlesville Road. And I know, it's unbelievable. So for years, and I would say 5 years, organized cleanups. People didn't like to be outside at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning, but we were out there, and we learned a lot about that intersection. One is that you don't want to clean it up after 10 o'clock in the morning because of the traffic, but that's not the issue. The issue is, there's 4 areas out there, and they all have manholes, and they all have utilities underneath the ground. And at any given day, heavy machinery pull right up on the grass, and they set up tents, and they go under the ground, and they do their thing. And everything that was planted above it is ground into dirt, into soil. So we've gone through it with agencies for the last 15 years. In my opinion, there's 3 things that could happen down there. 1, you just leave it the way it is. Nobody wants that. 2, you can pave over it. We don't really want it paved. Or 3, you can use that $5,000 to cut the grass and pick up the garbage. Now, what we did was we found somebody with raw wood chips. And on 2 separate occasions, we had wood chips delivered to the area and mounded the wood chips, and it was beautiful. And it also composted down to allow grass to grow until the contractors came, or till the heavy machinery came back, and killed the grass, and then the weeds came back. Any flowers you put down there are going to die. Any bushes that are put down there are going to die. And if native perennials are put down there, we have wasted $5,000 of taxpayers' money because they're going to die. If you want to put a perennial flower someplace as a beautification project in the area, the library has a flower bed that would love to have perennials. And also, wait a minute, what else?
And one thing
Oh, yeah. We could use that money to start replacing the Bradford pears at Glencliff High School. No, the Bradford pears are there, but we need them cut down and then replaced with native trees.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to say, my fault, I should mention earlier, our goal with these funds, we wanted to kind of keep everything within, like, it's in the metro right of way. We really didn't want to get, on private property, but we really didn't want to get in parks, get in the libraries.
They all have their own budget.
Exactly. And I wouldn't be stingy about it because we've got some pushback on this. Even the commissioners, they're like, we won't put, it's our money, we put it where we want to. It's like, no, because some people was on the interpretation that council budgeted this for us. Council did not. They approved our budget like they always do, but we took part of our funds within our department and set it aside. And 35 times 5,000 is a good chunk of money. I said also we want our project doing things that impact the right of way. So I know you said something about the school or library.
Just a thought. No, wood chips down there would be great.
And the wood chip, and I'm not saying let's do the wood chips by no means, but I think that's a real, I don't know anybody's gonna charge us $5,000 for wood chips. I'm sure we can find.
Free.
Yeah.
Ours were free, except for the massive amount of people.
And I'm not sure, to do something like that, I'm not sure what approval we would need from TDOT. It might be as simple as us just calling and say, hey, we want to put some mulch in this medium. They might say, well, just go on and do it, or they might say, we got some, if y'all want it, y'all, I don't want to make no promises. They might. They might maybe go through the whole ringer on it, which I doubt it for something like that. But I'm thinking just kind of looking outside the box, it'd probably save them a little time, because then they're probably going to cut down on plains of high grass there, and it'll just be mulch there. But again, I can only tell them so much. The mulch is a good idea. When I say mulch, wood chips.
Green wood chips.
That's a fine idea, because one, it's low maintenance. Y'all put it out there and spread it. Nobody comes out there and does anything with it or whatever for all summer. It's not like it's going to overgrow or anything like that. Only thing, just thinking off the top of my head, you have to look at the lay of the land, is if it caused any, if we had any flash flooding, might cause issues then. Like I said, I don't know the layout, so I may be talking.
That corner floods every time it rains because the drains clog, but that's a TDOT issue or a NDOT issue or I don't know whether.
We planted monkey grass, so much monkey grass, and then the heavy trucks killed it. Everything we planted out there has been run over.
Was that before the running hour? Was that before they built up the concrete around those?
Oh no, this was after. This was about, yeah. Yeah, it was, yes. And we did, I don't know.
Well, is that intersection something that this money can be spent on if it's $2?
We just have to get TDOT's approval to do whatever we're going to do. We have to get their approval to do it on the property. I'm happy to use the funding to do it. And I can't use that fund to tell them, so here's $5,000. I want y'all to come cut this twice one this year, because they'll laugh at me all the way to the bank probably. But when y'all get those, I know you can put them on the hub and keep using the hub. I was telling the gentleman there, it's a great tool. When I leave here, I'll give a couple of y'all my business cards. Feel free to call me, email me if you have issues, and I'll see if I can push stuff through. Because I email, like I said, I reached out to TDOT about that you emailed me about around the mural there. I don't know if I need to cut.
They did.
I don't know if it was them or CSX, but I know I did email TDOT, the guy said he can get his crews on it. And like I said, I'm not saying he lied to me, I'm not saying he told me the truth. He said he's gonna get it, so, maybe they're trying to do, I mean, I don't know, but,
We do get
that's good, like I said, something, like I said, they're good, like I said, I can't rag on them, I can't tell them how to do their job, just like I don't want them to tell me how to do my job, but, they're great to work with, I can't say enough about it, and, I mean, side note, we get grant money from TDOT, for our litter cleanups and things like that. Davidson County gets almost $180,000 a month, for TDOT litter cleanup, so, that's a whole other story I'd have to share with you if we got time, but not. I know it's kind of getting off, we're talking about the meeting and stuff like that, I don't want to get too far, and talk about litter and cleanups, I know it's probably really. If you want to hear it, I'm happy to talk about it, that's what I talk about mainly, and I can probably bore you with all the stuff we do, totally up to y'all.
Well, let's solve the issue of that. If we're gonna put mulch down there, we would know, Joshua will bring us wood chips, green wood chips, I think, is it Tansley?
Yeah, but if we're gonna let them, if we're gonna spend, if we need to spend the money in, it needs to be spent in the 16th district
Yes.
in a NDOT right-of-way area, correct? Then there's really not a lot other areas that,
Does our council member need to also approve this?
No, it's already been approved, we're
Okay.
good to do with the funding.
Well, sorry, I'm not clear on.
I would say let them do it.
Your proposal, are these like neighborhood groups that are putting forth a proposal specifically? Or
Most of the time most times it's the beautification commissioners one, they're not approved, but they're the one putting these proposals together. We're the ones that approve them, as far as if it's gonna work or.
So we're here like pitching ideas to whoever.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Is that right? I'm sorry. Well, I can't either. The acoustics in this room are kind of too close and partially deaf. But, so, yeah, I wasn't sure who made the final decision.
It's ultimately our department makes the final decision, because I've had some groups, they come in, or I've had one commissioner come in and want us to paint the picnic tables apart, and I'm like, no, we can't do that, because I'm not gonna say, we're just, parks ain't us, so I don't wanna use my funding to paint some of the park's property, essentially. But I've been over the guidelines of these commissioners countless times, so they should know the layout. But I mean, I'm happy, like I said, I know we said usually don't NDOT property, but I'm happy to push them on TDOT property, because a lot of people don't know the difference when you're going down the road. Because we get complaints all the time about TDOT stuff. It's like, people don't know the difference in our property and their property. So it's all part of the big picture. If every metro road in Davidson County is spotless free, no litter, and every state route's covered in it, we're really not winning there. It still has the appearance of a trashy city, because a lot of TDOT roads are the main arteries in the city. That's when people come in and go out, and they're on the main arteries of the city. So that's what I'm saying. One reason I discourage TDOT projects a little bit is just because of the hula hoops they make us jump through to do some of these projects.
But you don't think this would be a problem to do wood chip? You never know.
It's not a problem as mural is when I put your picture through.
But the point is, I know that there are people in our neighborhood that have wood chips, but if the $5,000 is available to us, why not let them hire a contractor that could come in and clean it up, spray it, and put the wood chips down in a way that's safe, that we're not out there as residents in that traffic trying to do it. That's just.
I agree 100%. If you can get the wood chips, I mean, regardless if we can get the wood chips for free or not, we can probably get them next to nothing regardless.
TDOT has wood chips.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing. TDOT's all telling you, we got wood chips, if you want them, come get them. And I have the contractor do that. Like I said, I don't, they might say there, they might say, no, we're gonna charge you $500 for one of them.
Don't they still grind wood out of the old tornadoes?
They don't. It's all a contractor that does that now. And I know they do let us get certain amounts for different things, but I don't know what the limit on that is. But that would be an option we could look at, whereas only we're paying a contractor just to do, like you said, to spray it, spread the mulch, or keep calling it mulch, I don't know.
That we could find a tree trimmer who has to pay to dispose of wood chips to dump them somewhere for free.
That's what we
We
do.
didn't need to, there's $5,000. Let them.
You said for me.
That's a good question. Could we use the $5,000 towards the mural that we painted down by the zoo? We had 3 separate murals on CSX's support beams down by the zoo, and then get 3 wood chips and put it there, and take care of 2 things.
So you want to use the $5,000 to paint, or to paint the mural, or?
To help finish painting, we painted it this summer.
That is fine with me, and I don't know who's worked with CSX in the past. I know there is a process. I'm not saying it's any easier or harder than TDOT, but I know we have to go through their approval on that, and I know they are real picky.
They painted it before they painted.
Painted.
It just needs to be
We
painted.
did.
What she's
Murals
asking is to use the money to go for something that's already been done.
Can they apply it
Money
to
to that project.
So so we issue the pay whoever painted.
It's already.
after the wood chips?
Probably. That's definitely a possibility, and we can probably do it. The only issue I'm gonna have with that is if whoever we got to write, I can't just write a check for, say they wanted $4,000 to paint this. Whoever painted it, was it an artist or is it? But
It was a big project, it was a lot of wood and art pieces.
Could you write it to a nonprofit, like the Glencliff Neighborhood Association, and then they could,
I don't think I can. See, for anybody, for Metro to do business with anybody, they have to be a registered vendor. I can't just write a Metro check. I could, but then I'd be trying to get a job somewhere.
Might be your last time.
Yeah.
well, y'all checked in, the wood chips, the beautification with the wood chips look beautiful at the corner. It just really enhances the corner, it's clean. If they're green, they've got that time to compost and turn into soil that will hold water and grass seed if that time comes in the future, which is what we did last time.
And we'll raise one possibility with wood chips. When restaurants use wood chips in their landscaping, they often have fires because people toss burning cigarettes out into wood chips and you have a fire. Now, it's not going to go very far, but
We didn't the last time.
a lot of places catch fire once wood chips get dry.
Especially right now, I know it's raining right now.
So does dead grass in the summertime.
You're right.
What about gravel? What about like decorative gravel?
We're gonna make that rubber kind of chip material. That could be a problem with gravel, and we won't have this problem everywhere, but the problem with gravel is if you got a problem with homeless people, they're gonna pick up the rocks and do stuff they shouldn't be doing with the rocks. The rocks look beautiful. I think that in a perfect world, I think it would look best and it would pretty much maintenance free. But like I said, if you're already having a problem with homeless, messes up grass, God only knows what we'll do when we get in with a few rocks. I know our crew has only one, there was one downtown, and we had to go in there and dig all the rocks up because they're worried people were gonna start throwing them at the police station and breaking off the glass. Beautiful stone too. Yes, ma'am.
Would you be able to like to check the Surf Pro who provided, was it painting for us down there? We owe their company $7,200.
I have to see, Surf Pros, it's have to see if they're a vendor.
Surf Pro.
If they're a vendor, Metro,
Do you have any?
if they are, yeah.
Yeah, I believe they are, because we have hired them.
And actually, the Surf Pro, they're like a disaster kind of cleanup, or what is Surf Pro? They're green trucks, right?
The trucks were right there. I think that they might have helped provide some of the security for us when we were down there.
What's their normal line of business? They're not painting murals.
Sarko didn't
They
paint
didn't
it.
paint the murals.
We had an artist that painted it. Sarko had to come in and paint over the existing mural and clean the concrete in order to prepare it for the new mural. Is that a correct way of saying it?
Prep work.
And the artist may be on the mural, maybe, because I know, because Metro has an arts commission where they have artists are probably registered vendor. So there's a chance that vendor might be, or that artist might be a vendor. If they are, I mean,
We've already paid the others.
oh,
So what we're left with is paying the people who protected us from getting killed when we were down there, and Surf Pro who did the truck things and the fire wash.
but so what does Surf Pro do, like I said, when they're not providing security for y'all paintings?
This is grand.
I'm thinking Surf Pro's like a disaster, like if the water heater busts at the house, they're the ones that come in and, do the mold remediation and things like that. That's what I'm thinking Surf Pro is. The reason I say that is because if Surf Pro sends me a $5,000 invoice and, I approve to pay it, my finances was like, what do we pay Surf Pro to do beautification wise? It's gonna look a little funny on paper, which I might explain and might not. Metro's finance is whole,
Maybe y'all could text each other and find out if they're on the list, but you can talk about it, but until you see it on the list or not, you really won't know, do you?
right, yeah.
So when you pick up your mother-in-law from hospital, see that cute little boy?
Yep, she's probably gonna be landing here in about 30 minutes-ish.
Well,
Everything's
I
like,
have a question
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
related to this, actually, two. One, you mentioned street sweeping. What is their requirement, their responsibility? Do they just go along and sweep stuff out in the street? Or do they physically sweep it and?
we have a contract, it's a street sweeper machine. It goes along, they sweep, I'm trying to think of the number, I think it's right around 1,800 miles of curb in Davidson County a month, which is not all, believe it or not, it's not all curb streets in the county. There's more. We're constantly adding and playing around with it, and we're in the process now because the street sweeping contract was at Metro Water, and it came over to NDOT about a year and a half ago, and I got to start babysitting.
So, but my question is, what is their responsibility? Do they just sweep it out into the street, away from the curb? Oh, yes. Or do they vacuum it up?
That machine's supposed to
Okay. So
sweep
the
it
next
out.
time I see him go down Antioch Pike and he's just sweeping it out into the street and he's not vacuuming it,
You call me.
I would get your car. Because I've seen it more than once.
We had that issue with them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they're a good contractor, but they have, it's like everybody else right now, people are having trouble finding people to work. So they have to get a lot of turnover on drivers, so
We pay for this service because we want to keep the storm drains from getting all of the trash and grass debris. But it's not, how many times have we seen it?
A lot. We see them go around with the trash. and they don't have the vacuum on, so just.
Like I said, we have the issue with it too, they won't turn that truck has water on it, so it doesn't stir as much dust. We'll have the issue with them not turning on the water, so it makes it's a big old dust tornado.
Never seen that. Okay, my second question, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Is, we had some delineators over on, again, Thompson Lane. And I don't know who has to replace those when they get run over. I assume because it's the state.
It's the state, man. And the whole bike lane there, that's, I'm not gonna talk a lot about it, 'cause I don't know, because it's not mine. But from what I know, we put in these delineators for the bike, for the bike lane protection.
Right.
We do that, TDOT doesn't do that.
Okay.
We do it at the, TDOT allows us to do that, but TDOT's thing is that they're not gonna replace it. We're gonna bet, but I would submit a turning signal hub, they should have somebody that can replace
Okay,
it.
well, the reason I ask is because on Thompson Lane, coming from the interstate to this direction, there's a bike lane, and people use it as a turn lane. And not just a turn lane, they just use it as a third lane, sometimes just opening it in traffic. And, it's very dangerous because if you're obeying and you turn right, they're likely to run into the side of the car. So you really are watching everything all the time. But I do know there's some over there. It would be nice if there could be some over on this side of the house. Near the crossing. Just asking. Throwing it out there if you ever have.
When you have my contact information, email me that, and I'll email it to our engineers. Like I said, I'm not got a lot of pull in that department, but I can definitely get you.
Well, anybody that works at NDOT that throws it over to someone who's responsible for it carries more weight than just me calling. So thank you. I'll shut up.
Anybody else have any questions, comments, criticism? Here, take it.
Hey, you're not the speed limit.
Traffic calls. But no, you seem like I said, the same way, I'll give you my contact, I'll put you on, I'll get you in touch with the right people. Need to speak on?
I was just checking the status.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We had a news story Channel 2 did a news story on Call Street and a few others that have had a lot of issues. Mailboxes getting taken out. A couple people were killed 4 doors down from me in May of 2022 by a couple of people going well over the speed limit, well over 50 miles an hour. So yeah, and I guess McCall Street is arterial, so they can't put speed bumps on it. So at least that's what our councilwoman said. What do you know anything about that?
No.
Okay, because you kind of looked like you're like, well, I was like,
No, I know we've had issues where they'll put in the speed bumps, but then there's no delineators there, so people just drive around the speed bumps. And it causes a whole nother, you solve one problem and create 10 more, so.
On December 14th, we have Cody from NDOT coming to actually talk about urban tacticalism and ways of getting traffic calming put in kind of on our own accord.
Who's coming from NDOT?
Kobe, yeah, on the 14th of December. And he will be talking to us about, I guess there's a new tactical urbanism department that's opening up, and it's kind of like sort of neighbors taking traffic calming into their own hands, but it gets approved by NDOT or TDOT or whoever.
And there's parts of, you mentioned tactical urbanism, there's parts of that where you could probably get beautification into that as well. I know some places, some districts have looked at that, as using that as part of tying beautification and tactical urbanism together, and I think that's,
And he's going to talk to us in December about how to go about that. The program doesn't start till the new year, but he wants to have some projects ready to go as soon as the new year happens. And because he lives on Curry, he's very interested in starting in the 16th. So
Great.
that's what we're going to do.
So basically everything is wood chips or like what, rubber chips, or you do like a mix of both. I don't know how feasible that would be, but like to control the fire concern, that would be good, maybe.
We can look at possibilities. Like I said, I've got a few business cards, I'll hand them out. Sherry, get my contact info, submit to me, and I can ask TDOT, get their thoughts on it, see what kind of hula hoops they're gonna make us jump through to begin with. They might, tell us, they're not gonna tell us a hard no, but they might just give us a hard way to get a yes. But like I said, I'm thinking if it's just something this simple, surely not, but I don't ever, I've learned, don't assume anything at the same time, so.
Thank you for being here to talk to us tonight.
Absolutely, appreciate y'all coming out.
Hearing our grievances about TDOT. Appreciate it.
I hear all